Alright, first bread recipe out of the Big Book of Bread. We got focaccia today. This is a fun and easy one. Just mixing some flour with some water, some yeast, some salt, and some olive oil. And then just mixing it all together. Just keep mixing until all the flour is incorporated in. Then we'll cover it, set it aside for 15 minutes in a warm spot. Come back and do some stretch and folds. It's very simple to do. You just take one half, pull it up, fold it over on top, turn a quarter, pull up, fold over on top. It's a pretty shaggy dough. It's all lumpy and not very smooth. But you do this a couple times, it starts to get a little smoother. You can see it's starting to give me some tension. You do that 8 or 10 times, then you wrap it, set it aside for another 15 minutes, and then you come back and do another stretch and fold. You can see it's much smoother to work with. Do another 8 to 10 stretch and folds, then set it aside for another 15 minutes. Then you repeat this for 2 more times. Alright, after 4 stretch and folds, we oil a pan generously with olive oil. You use a flexible dough scraper to get the dough out onto the pan. It likes to stick sometimes. Once you got it out, you flip it over to get both sides oiled. Wrap it up and another little rest here. Once it's done resting, you can start spreading it out, just using your fingertips to push it gently out to fill the whole pan. And once that's done, you throw a few tablespoons of olive oil on the top, and we're going to stick it in the oven. Like I said, this is a very simple recipe. Comes together quickly. You don't have to wait overnight or anything. It just started after lunch and you're eating it by dinner time. Anyway, into the oven for 22 to 24 minutes. I could have taken mine out a little earlier to put these toppings on. We decided to eat part of it for lunch, and I just made a pizza out of it, basically. A little sauce, a little cheese, a little pepperoni. This is obviously not part of the recipe. But what is part of the recipe is that you put it under the broiler for another 1 to 2 minutes. And here it is. Man, doesn't that look good? And it was. That was a good lunch. I used the rest of it for sandwiches over the next few days. And there we have it. Week 1 of bread making from the Big Book of Bread. So I got a couple things I'm finishing up in the shop this week. I've got this small end table made out of red oak. And then I've got this little recipe book holder. This end table, I just need to put an edge profile on it, finish sanding, and then put a coat of honey oak Rubio Monocoat on it. And then with the recipe book holder, just gotta finish sanding it, round over the edges, and put some finish on it. I think I'm gonna use a Danish oil on this one. So I got it all sanded and then I put it together just to make sure that it still fits together. And then I'll take it back apart and apply the Rubio Monocoat, and then I will glue it all up. Clearly. Here we go. I think we're about ready. Oh yeah, look at that, huh? So cool. So this thing can do time lapses. So it takes a picture every layer and then it puts together a video once it's done. So it's just super cool to watch. And here it is making a case with all the parts in place so that there's nothing to assemble. It just comes out just like this, fully working. It's so cool. So last year I bought this air quality tester. It shows 3 different things. For one, it shows the PM 2.5, which is the density of dust particles in the air that are 2.5 microns or bigger. That number I like to stay below 12. The next is TVOC, which shows the density of VOCs in the air, which are basically the fumes from paints, stains, and finishes. And that number I like to stay below 0.17. And then the third one is HCHO, which measures the amount of ozone in the air. I have never seen that one move very much, so I don't pay much attention to that one. Oh yeah, and then there's the AQI, which basically gives you a total number for all 3 of those. And that one I don't like to see above 50. If any of those numbers are above that, I put a mask on. And then that little green light at the top will go from green to yellow to red based on those numbers. You don't want to see red. Alright, so this is just a few of the things that I've made so far. Got a container right here with a screw top lid. Design on it's pretty cool. We got a metric screw bolt gauge for diameter and length. We got a broom handle holder. Those are pretty cool. We got a little planter here. Oh, cute little thing. A bunch of dice. These are some like cord organizers, cord wraps, whatever you want to call them. This is tweezers for nails. So you can hold a nail while you're hammering it in. I don't know how well it works yet, but sick of hitting my thumbs. This is a fruit fly trap. Open that up, pour some apple cider vinegar, some dish soap. And then this is the first of the vacuum adapters, the shop vac adapter. That goes to my Domino. So yeah, there's many more. They're just spread throughout the house now and shop. It's cold again today. Oh, it was blustering out earlier. Wind is still blowing pretty good, but it was snowing and it was going sideways for a little bit there. Check this out. Finally got all my jigs up on the wall, and so I could use the counter space in the other room for better storage. So we got that. And it cleaned up a little bit. I'm getting a lot more organized in here, so fun stuff. So we had to bring the laser out to the shop because the exhaust fan just wasn't enough to keep all of the particles out of the basement. I bought this laser based on the fact that it had really good exhaust, or so it said. This is the Xtool P2S. The P1 had subpar exhaust as far as all the reviews that I saw. This one is vastly improved, supposedly. So we got it downstairs, installed it. I vented it out one of the basement windows and put my little air tester up, and it was still, the numbers were still in the red. Because you can even adjust the power of the exhaust fan and the duration that it stays on after the burn is done, or the cut is done. And I set it to 100%. And set it so that it would run for 90 seconds after the cut is done. And the numbers, like even when it's cutting, the numbers raised way up into the red, way over the limit that I'm comfortable with in my basement. So it was a little misleading. I was under the impression that everything would exhaust out the window, and I'd be able to run it just fine in the basement. So I'm a little disappointed. It's no big deal that we brought it out here and it'll work fine out here. And it does. It works awesome. I am so excited to start using this as part of the business. And for fun. Stop blabbering now. All right. This works awesome. It's going to be frickin' rad. Yeah, like, look at this stuff. It cuts this. That's awesome. Yep. That's all I got to say about that. So today is final assembly of this end table. I'll be doing this in 2 stages. The first stage, I will glue each side together separately. And then the second stage, I will glue both sides together. Got the first one done. Now I'll do the other one. And then we'll let them sit for a couple hours. Then, of course, I forgot to film gluing both sides together. But here it is. And I attached the lower shelf. And here is the recipe book holder. It is made out of maple and alder. And then I just finished it with Danish oil. Those 2 pieces come apart, so it's easy to store when you're not using it. Man, it just keeps getting colder. I screwed up. I forgot to film the rest of the assembly of the table, and I didn't even get the end product on film or even take a picture of it. I do have a message out to the client to send me a picture when they can. So we'll see when that happens. Hopefully I'll have it on the next video. But it is pretty beautiful. I guess that wraps it up for this week. It was a fun week. Focaccia was amazing. Looking forward to this week. We got pain au levain. It's probably not how you say it at all. Basically just a sourdough loaf. So looking forward to that. And I'm sure there's going to be some other shenanigans going on, so check you later.